Hey everyone, I welcome you all to this video. And in the last video, we have discussed about creating a funnel chart. In this video, we will discuss about creating a gauge chart and a KPI visual. So I will simply click here on plus icon and this will create a new page for us. I will simply double click on this name and I'll name it as gauge chart. So on this page, we'll be adding a gauge chart. So I've named it as gauge chart. And now I will simply click here on this gauge chart icon under the visualizations pane and it will create a blank gauge chart for us. I will further resize it. Let's increase the size. And let's say in this chart, we want to represent the total profit. So I will further expand the sales table under the data pane. And here we have a column by the name profit. I will simply double click on this field under the data pane and will drag and drop it here under the values bucket. In the values bucket under the visualization pane. So now you can see that a gauge chart has been created on which the total profit or the sum of profit you can say is being represented here in the middle, that is 286.40K, while the minimum value that is represented is equal to 0 and the maximum value that is represented is equal to nothing but 572.79K. Now you can see that so far we are not having any value or we do not have any field, any measure. We have nothing in this minimum value bucket, maximum value bucket, and target value bucket. We can provide minimum, maximum, and target values as well. So we can provide the maximum, minimum, and target values using something called measures. Measures can be created in Power BI by using a built-in language, which is referred to as DAX. DAX, the full form of DAX is Data Analysis Expressions. And it is a functional language. So there are various functions which are used in this language, which help us to do certain calculations that in turn help us to represent certain insights in our reports and dashboards. So anyways, in the upcoming sessions, we will discuss more about DAX functions in DAX language. But here in this video, we will be creating some measures using DAX. I'll tell you how to create those and we'll be using some simple functions. For example, sum function to create those measures, and we will then put those measures in these respective buckets, and then we will see that how our gauge chart looks. So I'll just simply right click on this sales table under the data pane, and then I'll click on new measure. It might take some time for the formula bar to open, right? So I will name this measure as, let's name it as, first of all, let's find out the minimum value. So I will write minimum value. And let's say we know that the minimum value has to be equal to 10% of the total sales value. So I can simply write 0.1 multiplied by sum. I will simply write sum. Sum is a DAX function that we're going to use here. Now you can see that the sum function is highlighted with blue color. So I'll now press the tab key. So it will open the sum function for us. And now we will simply provide the name of the sales column from the sales table. So the name of the table is also sales and the name of the column is also sales. So I will simply write sales and this will show you the various options that you can use. I will come down and will select this particular option, that is sales column from sales table. That is highlighted. You can see on the screen now. I'll press the tab key, close the bracket, press enter. This minimum value measure will now consist of the minimum value. Now you can see that under the data pane, we have a measure that is created and you can see this small calculator icon before this. I'll simply double click on this minimum value measure, will drag and drop it here in minimum value bucket. So now you can see that the minimum value is nothing but 229.72K. Now similarly, let's say we know that the maximum value can be equal to, let's say 25% of the total sales. It cannot exceed that. So I will right click on the sales column, sales table, under the data pane. And then I'll again click on new measure. And then I will name this measure as maximum value. And then on the right hand side of equal to, since we know that the maximum value can be equal to 25% of the total sales, so we can write 0.25 multiplied by sum of, again we use the same function, so sum of Then again, we'll provide the name of sales column from sales table. So once you write sales, it will show you certain options. Select the option that you want. So we want sales column from sales table. Press the tab key, close the bracket, press enter. And this will create another measure for you. And this is the measure that is visible with this calculator icon. So I'll just simply double click on this maximum value bucket under the data pane. We'll drag and drop it here in maximum value bucket. So you can now see that the maximum value is now being shown to you as 574.30K. While in the beginning, it was around 572, right? That was nothing but the double of 286.40K. But still the total value or the total sales value that is being shown to you in the middle is nothing but 286.40K. So that is how a gauge chart looks. Now let's say we want to provide a target value as well. So again, I'll right click on the sales table under the data pane, new measure. And let's say we know that the target value is equal to 15% of the total sales value. So first of all, we will name this measure as target value. Now on the right hand side, we will write 0.15 multiplied by your sum of, select the sum function, then select the sales column from sales table. All right, close the bracket and press enter. And it has now created this target value measure for us. I'll simply double click on this measure and I'll drag and drop it here in target value bucket. So you can now see that this target value is being represented by this dark blue colored line, right? So in that way, you can create a gauge chart. Now, let's say we want to further format this gauge chart. So I'll simply click here on this gauge chart. I'll click on Format Your Visual, General, Effects. Let's say we want to provide a border, so we can provide a border. And then you can just simply close it. I'll again click on the visuals. Let's say you want to change the fill color and you want to change the target color. So you can change it from here. Let's say for the fill color, we want to choose purple. So we can choose that color. For the target color, let's say we want to choose some other color. So you can choose any other color of your choice. You can change the settings for the data labels as well. So I'll further expand the data labels. Let's say you want to change the color to black and change it to black. And you can keep it bold. And then you can further increase the size for data labels that you can see here, right? The minimum and the maximum values. And then you can further collapse this. You can change the target label as well. So let's keep it bold. So you can see the target label. You can change the color to black. You can further increase the size. And maybe you can keep it italic as per your choice. You can change the font style as well from him. So let's keep it Times New Roman. All right. And then we have this callout value that is written here. That is 286.40K. So you can change the formatting for this callout value as well. Let's choose the font as maybe Cosmic Sense MS. You can choose a different color, let's say black. And you can further maybe keep it italic or bold as per your choice, right? So this is how you can further format this visual. All right. And all right. So in that way, you can create this gauge chart and you can format this gauge chart. Now let's discuss about creating a KPI visual. So I will simply again click here on this plus icon and I will rename this new page as KPI visual. So I will simply double click here on this page 1 and then I will name it as KPI visual. All right. Fine. So first of all, I'll click here on the blank area on the canvas. Then I will simply click here on this KPI visual. And this will create a blank KPI visual for us. Let's place it here. All right. Fine. And let's say for this particular KPI visual, we want to represent the profit value on this. And we further want to represent a trend for different months according to the order date. So how we can achieve that? So I will simply double click on this profit field under the data pane and will then simply drag and drop it here under the values bucket. and I will further expand this order date field under the data pane. And from here, I will simply double click on this. Let's say I want to represent it for different months. I want to show the trend for different months. So I will simply double click on this month field under the data pane and will then drag and drop it here under trend axis. So you will see that a trend is being represented and some value is being shown here at the center. We are not sure that this value is being shown for which month. So I will simply click here on this KPI visual, and then I will click on format your visual, and I will change the state to on. So you can see that this value is being represented for December month. Now I will again go back to the add data to your visual section. And now you can see that here we have something called target. So we can provide a target as well. So again, let's say if we want to create a target value for this KPI visual, so we can create a target value for this KPI visual. I will simply right click on this sales table under the data pane, and then I'll click on new measure. And let's say we want the target to be target for API visual. Let's say we want the target to be 20K. So we'll simply write it like this, and I'll press enter. This will create a new measure for us. I will simply double click on this measure, that is target KPI, under the data pane, and then we'll drag and drop it here in the target bucket. So you can see that since our goal was 20,000 and for December we have 43.37K, so it is 116.85% more than what we wanted as the goal. And that's why a green colored KPI visual is being shown to you. Now, let's say for this KPI visual, I further want to format it and I do not want a title, let's say here. So I'll just simply click here on this KPI visual. Then I'll click on format your visual, general, and then under effects, I will change this visual border to on. And let's say we want to add a border. So in that way, we can add a border. And if we do not want a title, so we can simply change that title to off from here. And then you can see and analyze other data visualization options as well. So let's say if we further want to format the callout value, so you can further format it from here. So you can choose a different font style. Let's say you want to keep it maybe Times New Roman. So you can select Times New Roman, and you can further, let's say you want to reduce the size. So you can reduce the size from here. Let's say you want to keep it italic. So you can keep it italic. In that way, you can format your callout value that is being represented. You can further format the icons as well. So icon that you can see here, you can further increase the size. So you can see that the size for the icon is the tick mark is increasing. All right. And further, if you want to format your trend axis, so you can choose different colors. For good color, you can choose a color of your choice. Neutral, you can choose a color of your choice, and you can choose different colors from here. Let's say for good color, we want to choose some other color. Let's say we want to choose blue. So you can see that the color will change in this way. And anyways, if I talk about the target label, so you can choose the formatting for the target label as well. So let's say we want to choose some other font style. So let's say we want to keep it Georgia. So you can see that for goal and the values written here, we have a different font style now. We can further increase the size, and you can maybe keep it italic and bold as well, right? So, and the label that is being shown to you is goal. You can further change that as well. So in place of goal, let's say I want to write target. So I can write target from here. So that's all. And for this date, under this date section, let's say you want to change the formatting for this December written here. So you can change that as well. So let's change the font style maybe to Times New Roman. You can further increase the size, and you can maybe keep it italic, or you can choose some other font style and different formatting style according to your convenience. So this is all about the KPI visual that we have created, and I hope this video was helpful. We'll meet in the next session. We'll discuss about AI visuals. So we're going to discuss about 3 other AI visuals in the upcoming session. So I hope this video was helpful. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.